Hey everybody, I'm Tyler, and this is my English presentation project thing. So, just gonna get started. The article I read was titled How to Get a Job at Google, and it was written by Thomas L. Friedman. Now, Friedman is a recurring author at the Times. He's written before, and this particular article was actually printed in the Sunday paper. That's a little background info. Now, the premise of this article was how to get a job at Google, and he achieves this by stating 5 major things that the people at Google look for in their prospective employees. The first thing is all their employees should have a good ability to learn. I think they call it a cognitive ability to learn or something like that. That means that they can't only have a high IQ, so you just can't be traditionally smart. You have to have a good ability to learn. You have to be able to process information quickly and solve problems. Second is you have to have good leadership skills, and that means being able to step up and take charge, as well as being able to step back and let someone else step forward and take charge. An example would be you're in a group and you're doing a project, and the step you're doing for whatever project is doing research, and you're like the best at research. You would step up at that point and take charge and delegate and all that stuff. But then let's say the next step is designing the whatever thing, and you're not the best at that, so at that point you may step back and let someone else step forward. That's the kind of leadership skills they're looking for. 3 and 4 they put together, or he put together actually, and it was humility and ownership. And that's pretty much saying being able to fess up and own your mistakes. He says you can argue all you want about something, but once you realize you're wrong, you have to have the ability to let go and accept that you're wrong, and maybe take that new information and use it to correct the flawed logic you have. 5th step is, what's the 5th step? Expertise. You should have expertise. This is the least important though, so it's not a requirement. They don't put as much pressure as they do on the other 4, but they say if you have expertise, great. You know, it's always good to have, but it's not required like the others. The speaker of this article is Thomas L. Friedman, but I also thought there was another speaker, this guy named Laszlo Bock, who deals with a lot of the hiring at Google. I think his official title is the Vice President of Personal Operations at Google. Again, that's just a fancy way of saying he deals with like the hiring stuff, like setting the prerequisites and prerequisites. Yeah, prerequisites for all the hiring things. Now, Bock did an interview with another person from the Times before, and I think Friedman got his hands on that interview and used a lot of the stuff that Bock said in there in his article. So Bock was talking about how he works at his job, and he was pretty much talking about his job, and then Friedman used all that stuff and put it in. So a lot of the article is quotes from Bock, which is why I think their article has 2 speakers, Bock and Friedman. The occasion, I couldn't find a specific occasion to go with this article, except that it's relevant to us since we're juniors and we're going to be going into the workforce soon. I thought this was relevant because those 5 things that they say in the article that people at Google look for, they can be extended and used for other jobs. I have a feeling other employers probably feel the same way. They want those kind of traits in their employees. Audience was probably people who are already in the workforce or people who are about to join the workforce, probably the younger generations. Purpose, I said what the purpose was already, how to get a job at Google. It's the title, and the way he fulfills it is by saying those 5 things and explaining why people at Google want these things in their new employees. Subject relates back to purpose. It's how to get a job at Google. The tone of the article I thought was didactic and contemplative. It was didactic in how they pretty much lay out step by step by step by step, or they lay out the traits of what people at Google look for in their new employees. They're teaching us, they're telling us how to get that job. So that's why I thought it was didactic, because they're actually teaching us exactly what people at Google look for. And I thought it was contemplative because at least I was always taught that you have to have good grades in order to get a good job. If you don't have good grades, you're not going to get into a good college, and you're not going to get a good job, and you're going to be a bum the rest of your life. But what they say in the article is that having good grades is only part of it. It's not the determining factor. You don't need good grades. Of course, it's great to have good grades. It's great to have that thing on paper, but in reality, it's not the biggest thing in the world. If you don't have good grades, if maybe you're a high school dropout, you still have a chance. It may not be as good a chance as those people with better grades, but it doesn't mean that you're completely out. So, I guess I kind of already knew this, but I don't know, this just made me think. That's why I thought the tone could be labeled also as contemplative. Some rhetorical strategies I saw were ethos, of course. Like I said, Bach had a big role in this article, and he is the vice president of personal operations, or in other words, the dude who handles hiring. And since the article is about, you know, getting a job at Google, and he is the guy you go to for hiring at Google, you're getting your information straight from the horse's mouth. You're getting information right from the source. So, I don't think you can get any more ethos than that. So, what I'm pretty much saying is that this article is filled with ethos. It's like dripping with ethos. Another rhetorical strategy I saw was structure, because the way he labeled everything out, the way he put everything, he pretty much said one requirement, explained it out, another thing, explained it out, another thing, explained it out, and it was really easy to follow. So I thought the structure was really good in the way it helped the reader understand what he was saying. And the last thing I saw was comparison. He used comparison a lot. An example would be comparing what we thought, what people would usually think employers look for, compared to what employers actually look for. And, you know, like, I thought, you know, grades were 100% important. You need good grades in order to get a good job. But they say you don't. It's not required. Some questions I have. The first question I have is, do you think this article is relevant to us? Because I thought it was relevant, but I'm wondering what you guys think, and explain why and how. And 2, do you think those 5 things are applicable to other jobs? Can you take those things that people look for at Google and maybe take it and go? Do you think employers want those things at, let's say, TD Bank, or, you know, the corner drugstore? Do you think those things are applicable to other places? If you don't, maybe say what kind of things you think they do look for. And if you do, maybe explain why. I think that's it. And guess I'll see you guys later. Bye.